That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad question.
About Haley getting cut. I'll talk about that right now. We'll talk about that right now. So yeah, sad, crazy, cutthroat day in the WNBA, the final day before, where everybody has to set their final rosters. And for the Dream, they made a cut. Haley Jones, obviously, Haley is someone I've been high on all her career, ever since she came out of before that. I've been on Haley since their championship run. What was that 2021? So I've been on Haley like heavy, a heavy believer of her because she kind of reminded me in college of Magic Johnson, a big who could do it all. She could bring the ball up. I like that behind the back move she always did. It was kind of like her bread and butter and stuff like that. And it worked in college. And she's high arcing shot is difficult to kind of block because she was so tall. She was a big guard. I really appreciate her ball skills and everything like that. And then on defense, I like her effort defensively. So she gets to Georgia, Atlanta Dream, and she did well. She did well her rookie season and stuff like that. Had a pretty good rookie season. Showed some promise. A lot of the stuff that she showed back at Stanford. Comes in next season and she loses all of her confidence because with some injuries, Jordan Canada, JC got hurt and stuff like that at the beginning of the year. She was kind of forced to play the one. It was a thing of where you have a point forward, say someone like Ben Simmons or LeBron James, Magic Johnson, not Magic Johnson, but Ben Simmons. Who else? Ben Simmons, LeBron James type people who they bring up the ball. Zion Williamson is a great example. They can bring up the ball and they play point forward, but they're not a point guard. She was placed in a position by Tanisha Wright because of the injuries, like I said, on the team. Jordan Canada is out. Ari McDonald is traded, shipped out West Coast and everything to the LA Sparks. It's like she has to play the one now. Haley Jones has to play the one. So Haley's playing one full time, and she's kind of just kind of struggling a bit. It's kind of obvious she's out of position. But sometimes, it worked at the beginning. I ain't going to lie. Because she did it her rookie season, where she would run the lineup with Haley Jones running the point, with Ryan, with Alicia Gray, with Naz Hillman. Well, back then it was kind of like Mo Billings and then Cheyenne Parker before she was Cheyenne Parker Tyus. And that lineup was one of the more efficient and high-scoring lineups in the league. So I was like, okay, bet. This is a tall lineup. We got a tall point guard and a tall, kind of 2 through 5. Let's run it. So, that was kind of the thing. Let's try it full time now. Since it worked so well her rookie season, it didn't work. I don't know if opposing teams was just watching film and scouted her to the point of they know what her move is, kind of like that behind the back from Stanford that I said I love. It was kind of like her kind of go-to move in the pros as well. And then I'm like, okay. All right. So it seemed like they started picking up on it because she was just kind of turn the ball over a little more and stuff like that. But the main thing beyond that, because her handle and ability to run the offense was decent enough. The main thing that became the growing concern and the most glaring thing was her shooting, her ability to shoot mid-range beyond. Anytime she had a mid-range jumper or a three-point shot wide open, they will sag off. The defense will sag off and dare her to shoot that shot. She wouldn't shoot the shot. She wouldn't shoot the shot because she was missing. And she was missing when she was taking them a lot of times. A couple times, of course, she'll be open. She'll knock them down. And the whole bench gets up and cheers for her. But a lot of those times, she would just miss those shots, And so the defense continued to sag off her. And it got to the point where Haley would get the ball within the offense, the flow of the offense during the play, and she wouldn't even be looking at the rim. And it's like, okay, this is an issue. So, she comes back this season. In the preseason, she's in training camp. She says, I'm so glad that we're in a new system with Carson Mesco. I feel like I'll be able to fully show all of my abilities in the system, which was kind of confusing because when Carson Smesco got hired, it was like, okay, this guy is a spread 5, shoot 3s type of dude. And then they went out and signed BG and Bree Jones, and people were like, how is that going to work out? So far in the preseason, you've seen both Bree Jones and BG shoot a lot of threes, and they adapted. So it's like, okay, they get the message. They get the memo. You're going to have to shoot threes if you're going to play here, if you're going to last on this team. Haley Jones, not so much. It was kind of like a lot of kind of convoluted plays up there as she's trying to hand off the ball and move around the perimeter and stuff like that. She was running into a lot of her teammates. It just didn't look that smooth. And the first game just wasn't the best in Washington. I think she had 0 points there. And I made a video because Leticia Mehier at the same time over in Golden State, she had 20 points. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to be a thing where people compare Haley versus Leticia. And I made a whole video about it. You could check it out. But within that, it was like Haley, I knew she noticed it. Like, nobody had to tell her. She noticed she had 0 points. And the reason why the 0 points sounded louder than what it was is because Tahina Powell, a second-round pick, fighting for her job, fighting for her career, trying to get a spot on the team. Tahina Powell balled out. She hit about 3 threes. You know what I'm saying? She was running the offense smoothly and stuff like that, making nice passes, moving well with it. Nice flow. It seemed like it just made sense with a player that Carl Smesko drafted specifically for it. Like, he had this in mind. If this was going to be the team and stuff like that. Tahina Powell, these are the type of players we want spreading the floor and running the one. So Powell ended up becoming one of the 2 players this year from the second round who actually made their teams, which is a whole nother discussion, and it's sad in itself. The other player is JJ Quinterly from Dallas. So shout out to JJ Quinterly from Dallas being one of the 2 second-round draft picks to make their final rosters. But, yeah, that's just what it was. So that first game against Washington, she's kind of running into players, not smooth handoffs, not really shooting, and ends up with 0 points. She hears all of that noise. If she don't hear the noise, then she's making it up herself in her mind. I had 0 points. Powell played well. My spot's now in jeopardy all of a sudden. It seemed like I was going to have another year of development and a new system to see where my career is going now. It's make or break year for me. It went from that to my job's in jeopardy immediately. Second preseason game, this one at home against the Indiana Fever, you can tell she's feeling the pressure because she's being a lot more aggressive and she's forcing it. Fortunately, kind of for her, she was making a couple of the shots. She had a nice, smooth turnaround jumper in the fourth quarter that really mattered in time where it was straight up people on the Dream who were trying out for their spots. All 5 of them. It was Cheyenne Sellers was out there. I believe Powell was still out there. Haley Jones, and I don't know who else was out there, but all 5 of the players who were on the floor were fighting for their jobs. And Haley was playing for her life, man. You know, she made a mistake on defense. A player got by her, blew by her for a layup. Okay, she comes back next play, is aggressive. I'm shooting the ball every single time. And then she eventually had a play on defense where she got to stop. She got to steal. She batted the ball out of bounds. She blocked the shot, things of that sort. And it was looking like, she was clapping. She was really trying to amp herself up because she knew what was at stake. But overall, Powell had another sensational game. And Cheyenne Sellers struggled as well. So they cut Cheyenne. And today they cut Haley Jones. Like I said, it was tough for me as someone who believes in Haley. And so, yeah. Well, this is another thing. The Tyree, the other rookie, the one from Ohio State, I believe, the Dream didn't post a full roster. Like all the other teams posted like their full roster. The Dream just said, "Thank you so much, Haley Jones." But they didn't post like a picture of their roster and say, "Your 2025 Atlanta Dream." They just did it. Hold on, let me pull up. But yeah, teammates were saying good things about both of them. Both of them, I mean the rookies, Powell and Tyree. They're saying good things about both of them. Yeah, they don't have a roster here. Like every other team posted like, here's your official 2025 roster. The Dream didn't do that. Let me see if it's even in my email. Nah, I don't see an email. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. Hold on. Nah, I did get an email today from the Dream, but it was about a campaign they launched. Our City, Our Dream. Y'all make sure y'all check that campaign out. Yeah, I don't see anything else from the Dream today. Yeah, so the Dream haven't sent us an official roster. Is it on trade in Nia? She's taking up a lot of cap space. Would I trade Nia? I mean, but who like do they need to draft someone right now? Is the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you need to draft someone? Hold on, let me think. What am I looking up? Dream PR. Dream PR. Let me see. Atlanta Dream PR. Let me see. Atlanta Dream PR. If you need cap space and that needs to be something like kind of worth discussing, I think that's a whole nother thing. Dream PR hasn't posted a roster either. That's it. Yeah, they only announced cutting Haley Jones. Let me go to the official Dream website and see if they have a roster. But I thought today was the deadline to announce your rosters. That's why all the other teams were announcing their rosters. But Nia Coffee, let me see the roster. Okay, so you got Nas Hillman, Pow Pow. Wait, hold on. Let me count first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, could they have kept Haley, or was it, or it had to be a cap space thing? Tomorrow, today is the deadline. Okay, all right. Yeah, they got 11 players on here. I wonder why. So Maya made the team. Shout out to Maya Caldwell. She's like, Shatori Walker Kimbrough. I understand that she's the vet, but in preseason, I'm not gonna lie, like she didn't look like she was just like head and shoulders above Haley, and I feel like for continuity's sake, but hey, you just gotta respect their wishes, man. Respect their wishes. Nia Coffee though, like she the glue player, and I know we do this all the time. Me and Today's a New Day. We do this all the time with Mo Billings and Nia Coffee. I feel like Nia Coffee is a great glue player who does all the little things. And a couple of years ago, she was a blocking machine. Last year, she was quiet. We ain't hear nothing from Nia Coffee all season, for real, on the court. And she don't speak off the court. So figuratively and literally, quiet season for Nia Coffee. But I still think about a couple of years ago what she meant to that team and her being a glue player. It's like when Nia was healthy and she was in the team and she was in the lineup, it looked like a whole different team versus when she was hurt and she was out of the lineup. They looked discombobulated, everything like that. Today's a New Day saying she's not a 150K player. Hey, that was kind of like the same thing I was looking at. It was certain players that was on the team. I was like, they the highest paid player on the Dream in past seasons. But yeah, she said Haley probably would have been kept if they didn't overpay Nia. Let me go to the salary cap. Salary. Let's go to the salary sheet here. Also, Leticia Me here. She did get cut from Golden State today, and Golden State's like preseason leading scorer also got cut. I thought that was both crazy. They said they got this the overseas player from like Spain who had like 24 points and all that overseas, and they were like, y'all don't do y'all research. I'm like, but who played the best right now? You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should reward the people who play best in training camp, right? You cut the people who don't play the best in training camp. So the top two players right now are Bree and BG. They both getting over 200,000. Jordan Canada's getting 190. Okay, that's high, but she is a vet and she was a borderline all-star. Alicia Gray is an all-star, and she definitely deserves. Leash probably deserves 200. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nia Coffee getting 150 when Ryan Howard's still on her rookie contract. They stretching out that rookie contract. It felt like Ryan Howard done been here about 4 or 5 seasons at this point. Nas Hillman still on a rookie contract, 80,000 being a second round pick. Now they got to sign Pow at least 69. They got to sign Taylor at least 66. and they got to sign Maya at 66. So, yeah, Nia. But what's the vet minimum? Is the vet minimum 150? Because Shatori's also getting 150. You know how I feel. Ryan's the only 200. I think Leash is 200. Leash is worth 200 to me, in my opinion. Like I know Ryan's your gal, everything like that. But is 150 like the vet minimum? It has to be, right? Because if Shatori, Walker, Kimbrough is getting 150, bro, like I feel like okay. So we agree on that. All due respect to Shatori, maybe you proved me wrong this season, everything like that. But what I saw in the preseason and training camp, I'm like, bro, like that's kind of crazy, dog. That's kind of crazy, man. I know you're getting adjusted to a new team, new system, but you are a vet at the end of the day. Like, you're supposed to be better than these. You 29, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be there already. So, I don't know. I feel like Nia's 150 is kind of a little more justified than Shatori, because I've seen what Nia can do for the team. She does like all the small things. Like, it's lower than that, I thought. It has to be. 150 has to be lower than 150. I was just saying because Shatori is getting 150, so I was like, okay, maybe that's a vet minimum. But yeah. 150 is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But next year, you got to make a decision now, because it's like BG. I think she just signed for a year. Bree Jones is obviously older too, and then Jordan. I'm not gonna lie, with the amount of players that be getting cut for real, and especially the amount of guards, I might even look at like, this is just me talking. This is not no expert opinion. It's just me just talking about the dream, just shooting stuff. I'm looking at the point guard market if I'm Atlanta, bro, because JC's, everybody knows the best ability is availability. And for the past 2 seasons, she just hasn't been available. Now, prayers up to Jordan on JC. I hope you wish well recovery, all those good things. And you're back by the end of May. You know what I'm saying? If you're not back by the end of May, you're back by the second week of June. And you don't miss too much time in the season. But it's just like, okay, we know what she can do. We know her abilities. But if you can go out and get you another point guard and just make Sahina pop out the starter, and just have another point guard backing up, like, you should be good, bro. You should be smooth. But yeah, Tyree, the vets were talking well about her. Leash was speaking highly about her. I think Nas Hillman was speaking, like the vets on the team were really speaking highly about Tyree and Papao. So I mean, yeah, salute to both of them for making the team as both draft picks. The thing I was also thinking about was like, when are the Australian players coming over? Like, they drafted 2 Australians in the first round last year. The first one was really excited. She cried. She thanked Jesus in her interview. They bring her to Atlanta. She was wearing her dream hat the whole time, and they told her, you're going to be a draft and stash player. What is going on with that? Let me see her name so I can give her that respect. Are they ever going to bring her over? Let me see. 2024 draft board. Caitlin Clark. Y'all ever heard of her? Cameron Brink, Camila Cardoso, Rakia Jackson, J.C. Sheldon, Aaliyah Edwards, Sandra Reese, Elisa Pilley, Carla Latte, Leela Lacan, Marcretia Davis, and then Naya Poach. She was very excited to play for the Dream. Is she ever gonna come over? I was looking at the draft night availability with Dan Padover and Carl Semesco, and I don't think anybody asked that. And I was like, dang, I wish I was on here so I could have asked that. But you snooze, you lose, Rashad. I was too busy watching the full draft. I wasn't trying to miss any of it for the channel. But yeah, I do want to know what's going on with that. Maybe when I'm in Atlanta, I can ask Dan in person and get an answer on that. But yeah, salute to the rookies for making it. Salute to Maya Caldwell, always fighting her way on the team. And we'll see how this team does, but you're starting the season off without Jordan Canada. So the starter is either Shatori or Pow Pow because you cut Haley Jones. Hate to see it. Hate to see Ari McDonald as well. So, like, all 3 former Dream draft picks got cut today, and they're pretty decent pros, I would say. Leticia Me here, Ari McDonald, and Haley Jones. So, best of luck to those 3 in their careers. Roster expansion is definitely needed. But it's like when they talk about money and the salary cap is obviously going to have to be increased. Yeah, today is saying Shatori will start. Ryan will 1 point until Pow Pow checks in. Okay. All right. I don't like Ryan at point, like, in an official role, though. And I know she brings the ball up a lot, kind of like in a wing point position. So it's something that she does often, that the Dream have done often, at least with T-Dub. They did that a lot, but I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. I'm saying all this to say people are talking about expanding the rosters, including myself, but there's obviously something here. If the Dream only have 11 people on the roster. The Dream only have 11 people on the roster out of 12 possible roster spots. And so many times I've seen franchises like the Dream or other teams only have 10, 11 players on their roster when the maximum right now is 12. So teams aren't even filling out the full 12. So it's like, how are they going to be able to afford 15? So it's like, it all comes back down to money, bro. Yeah, today just said it can't afford 12, overpaid too many. It comes back down to money. Like, we got to increase the salary cap. And I guess that's going to go to, like, owners and teams are going to have to put more money into just even affording to keep the players and everything like that. To expand it to 15, because you can make a whole, like, we did it a couple of years ago with the all cut teams when AG Arella and Zay Green also got cut. That's my dog. Zay Green got cut. That's one of my players. Madison Hayes got cut. That's one of my dogs. Like, I hate to see my dogs get cut, man. Cutthroat business. Grace Berger, one of my dogs back in Indiana. If you know, you know. If you was back on the channel back then, you know. Grace Berger got cut, I believe, right? Hold on. I can't just be saying stuff. Now. Yeah. Grace Berger was cut by Minnesota today. Yeah, my dogs, man. My dogs were cut. So I love to see him in the league and stuff like that with the roster expansions and people talking about the league expansion, but I'm like, expand the rosters, but you're gonna have to put money into it. You're gonna have to raise the salary cap. This season is so pivotal, bro. Like, and we're already seeing how important it is already in the preseason. But KP said it in her presser too. You can look that out on my channel. It was a couple of days ago. KP, Kelsey Plum, and De'Erica Hamby and the Los Angeles Sparks. They were talking about how important this season was for negotiating the new CBA going into next season. They're going to have to negotiate it so the players, the teams can afford more so they can expand the roster spots to 15. It's a discussion. So team owners going to have to either bring in more investors to join their ownership groups, or they're going to have to sell their teams to richer people. Shout out to Toronto, by the way, to the Toronto Tempo for hiring Lily Singh, one of the OG YouTubers, one of the OGs, one of the GOATs in this game for sure, digital content. Big move for her. And to team up with Serena Williams in the ownership group over there in Toronto in the 6. Who else we got? I think that's it for real that I wanted to shout out in the ownership group. But yeah, that's how I feel about the cuts. And I did that for today because, of course, we coming up on the season and people want to know the Dream news. So, yeah. But, yeah, how I feel about the win-win.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but.
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one quick
can't
question?
ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.